Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here. Welcome back to some more of our Northern Illinois Huskies Dynasty. I'm gonna sit back, relax. We all good. I tried to record this once before, but yeah, I kind of messed up. Luckily, I wasn't even through recruiting at that point. I noticed that I had it paused, so I didn't have any of the footage. So I'm gonna redo this again, and we're gonna start with the fact that I think we did let's start with the stats. We did the award winners, things like that last episode, I believe. So, season stats. Now, I have likely an issue that I need to figure out. Now, Rousseau is a 4-star with impact, and how this game kind of sets is the guy on the bench, when he gets like the points in here, even though he's a 4-star impact, he is actually going to get his upgrades not to his physicals but to his ratings. So we'll likely have a situation where like Amani Warren jumps up to like a mid to high 80s because the training affects this, but all the in-season development stuff that Rousseau has done is only gone to really his physicals. Whoops. It's really only gone to his physicals, as you can see there. So it's kind of a one thing I'm not necessarily like big on Madden Plus, or not just Madden, but also NCAA. I wish we had something more organic. With that in mind, though, there's less blockers, I think, on Rousseau than there is besides an accuracy. So it's kind of weird because even though looking at Warren, like it looks generally the same, so it looks like the workout should be that way. So we'll see how that kind of goes. I kind of seen that before, which is kind of weird. But let's start with the passing. This is Rousseau's team. 3,500 yards, went 266 off 378 attempts, so it puts it at a 70% completion. Better year this year. 38 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, which is likely, even if Warren comes up, Rousseau is going to be there. We also might target a quarterback next season. In rushing, Mentor with over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, did have 3 fumbles. That was on 207 carries, an 83.8 game. Rousseau had 543 yards, so he had a combination of 4,000 yards himself, 4 touchdowns there. He has 38, so 42 total touchdowns. I think Rousseau is definitely going to be our guy going in. And then Latulai had 151 and 2 touchdowns. In receiving, Kyle Thomas comes in with 1,000 yards with 1,200 off 57 receptions, 12 touchdowns. Eskew comes in off a transfer, either for 2 years he played here. 785 yards, 10 touchdowns himself. Chestnut with 382, Cousins with 378. Now Cousins being here 378, 8 touchdowns. I think Cousins is going to have to play a big role. But also maybe there's someone in the transfer window that we can bring in. I don't know. We might have a true freshman at receiver because of the height. We're lacking any height in the receiving core. And then Mentor with 363 yards, Shakir with 219 and 3 touchdowns. Blocking, 12 sacks given up by Nash, Jamar with 9, Hiram with 5, Jared 4, and Mick Roberts with 4 given up. On defense, Lasco and Quintero. Now, same thing could possibly happen here. He's a 3-star recruit. Actually, he's up to the point where he can't grow more. So we have a question. Do we go with Lasco? We need someone with a bit more speed. So who is going to pair with Quintero? Quintero being a 3-star as well, and he can actually grow a lot more. So that's kind of interesting. On that, Lasco is at his portion, so we'll have to see. Stark came in, had 85 tackles. When it came from TFLs, 24 for Young on the right side. Jesus. Wow. 16 for Randall. Hilliard with 13. Randall unfortunately going to be gone. He's playing on the left. Sanders at 13 in the middle. We're going to have to worry about the speed. Young had 11 sacks off the right side. Randall with 10 on the left. So Young's going to stay on the right. And I think Randall or someone has to take over this left position. Hilliard in the middle with 7. Quinero with 4, 3.5 for Sanders, and Alaska with 2.5 and 1 with speed, 1.4 speed. Kaywan Davis, the senior, 5 interceptions. I mean, this man was all over the field with blanket coverage. I mean, he was great. Block with 3 interceptions. We're going to keep playing him on the outside, even though he's a slot guy. We're going to keep playing him on the outside. Vallejo has 3. Again, we're going to play him on the outside. And then Lasco with 2, and then Sanders with 1. As for the fumbles, only 4 forced fumbles. And we recovered 3 of them. We had a touchdown by Dave Sanders that we actually intercepted off a screen. Young had 1 recovering as he rolled in the end zone. And then Block had only 1. So that was interesting there. In kicking, I'm terrible, so only 8 of 14. Punting, I'm sure we had more than 11 punts, but yeah, it's kind of weird. Kick return, Lane just shy of 500 yards. Rothman with 412, and then out of the kick return, Lane at 215 and a touchdown. We saw that one last time. So season stats, I think it's still Russo's team. Regardless, but also because I feel like, yeah, it's just kind of his team. All right, so I looked and I actually didn't go over anything else. So there is that. We've been over like the bracket, but we didn't do All-Americans or anything like that. So let's start with your award winners. Actually, yeah, your award winners, because Heisman isn't actually on the list. But we know the Heisman was Christopher Venezia from Clemson. We didn't have anyone up there. Head coach of the year goes to Garrett Renendo from Clemson. Oregon only lost 2 games, but Tristan Stanley doesn't get it, which is kind of interesting there. Best quarterback, of course, Venezia is there. Best defensive stars, Young is there at 7. It goes to Dylan Williams. Have a fight between him and Elijah Rushing, his teammate. Best defensive back, 3 Oregon Ducks. Jordan McElroy, Quincy Bell, and George Small. Elroy and Small are both freshman red shirts. Wow. Okay, best running back, Tyreek Leber out of Oregon. Roland Mentor, there at 9. Best receiver, Tyler Williams out of Clemson. Lombardi Award, Elijah Rushing out of Oregon. Zaleshi Young, there at 8. Unitas goes to Christopher Venezia. Best defensive end, Elijah Rushing out of Oregon. Young's there at 5. Best interior lineman goes to Casey Poe out of Alabama, the left guard. Best tight end, Landon Thomas out of Florida State. Charles Award goes to DC Brendan Levine at Clemson. Best linebacker, Dylan Williams out of Oregon. Best center goes to Zach Fournette, not Jack, but Zach Fournette of West Virginia. Luke Graza goes to Caden Chittenden of UNLV. That's the best kicker. Best punter, Cortez Bynum out of Pittsburgh. And best returner goes to Dalvin Butler. We have Denard Lane at 10. I doubt we'll have any All-Americans, so let's look at it though. Nationally, we have no one. First team, second team, no. There's a Middle Tennessee tight end, which is interesting. NC State, but they're also ranked. Purdue kicker, and we don't have anything else. That is a bit unfortunate. Let's look at the Big Ten. For freshmen, none. Jesus. Second team, Roland Mentor here. Second team, a running back. And then first team, Dylan Raoul is there headlining quarterback, but fortunately no one is there first team. So we're kind of far off in that. Here's your top 25 ends. The Shockers being, actually we have to go one more week because they haven't played. All right, so our pro potential goes up, coach stability goes down a bit, but coach prestige goes up. And it's a 41-17 shellacking. Clemson wins that game. We have no staff moves at this point. Heisman Trophy winner. This is why it wasn't here. Christopher Venezia out of Clemson gets it. You have Jake Merklinger of Tennessee is 2. Tyler Williams, receiver for Clemson, is 3. And we have 2 more quarterbacks. Florida State and Oregon is Luke Romanhelk from Florida State and Austin Nevasad at Oregon. Final top 25. Any shockers here? Pittsburgh at 8-5 at 24. They're going through nothing crazy. Clemson has a 15-1 record on the year. Wisconsin goes to 9-4, but no real shockers in this one. Middle Tennessee State 11-3, and Penn State fought themselves back up to a 9-4 game. We of course won our bowl game. It helps us a little bit, but not much. Okay, so let's go to the next week. Not worried about anyone else's bowl games. I don't want to talk about it. Actually, that's not completely true, but we know ours. We're kind of going to go through now. Players leaving. Block is projected as a round 5. It's a guaranteed. I'm sorry, Block. I want you to stay. As an 88 overall, Block, what I'm going to say is we're allowed one guy that's going to the pro draft that we can stay. But realistically, I'm bringing him in because he's a sophomore redshirt. If he was a junior redshirt, I would let him leave because as a junior, it makes sense. But he's a sophomore still, going into his junior year. He has still one more year to go to. Just don't know why the game's doing that. All right, so here we have is Kyle Thomas. We're gonna lose him and SQ. So our 2 top receivers, we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do there. Backup tight end, Jamar at right tackle, Welch at left tackle was a backup, Huron at right guard, Ash was a backup, Matlock was a backup, Poe was as well, and Patterson. So not a lot of starters, just a couple. Hensley, who's a backup DT, Banner at safety, kind of played here and there. Tierney leaving is going to be a loss. We're gonna have to figure out what we do at safety. Juan Davis as well, playing a lot in the slot. 6'3", this man was an absolute monster. Mikrowski, just a backup run linebacker. Randall leaving. This is going to be big for us. We're going to lose 10 sack production days, so we have to figure that out. And then Stark, that was a great transfer in, but all right, draft results, here it is. And Stark will be a 6th round pick for us. So our first NFL draft pick. Okay, we will take it. All right, transfer portal and off-season recruiting. So Cheek and Reigns are guys that we're already bringing him in. Let's put 50 points here, 50 points here, and we'll get him in. It's not really an issue. Cal is kind of going through there. We'll look at their stuff there. Now let's look at the transfer portal by rank. So nothing at quarterback. I'm not really worried about that. At halfback, no one is here. So Mentor is gonna get another day. I will look at this one out of South Carolina though. Nothing at fullback. I'm not really worried about that. At receiver, Maybe we get someone that is a little bit of Miami. Look at that one out of Miami, maybe. Feeney. He's a blocking tight end. Sophomore. Would immediately come in and play as our blocking tight end. Okay. At tackle, there's no one there. At guard, no one there. At center, no one. Das? No. Defensive tackle. Dilliard is here. And this man is a monster in the middle. Nothing at linebacker. The middle linebacker, there's not one. At corner. Alton Keys, maybe? He's a slot guy. He's coming as a freshman. We have, oh my God, we have two here. I think we have to look at both of these guys. All right, there's Diego Reigns. Okay, we've taken first on pretty much anything that we wanted. Okay. There's Zeke Cheek. There's Walt Thompson, Tim Feeney, Alton Keys, Damon Marable. So Maryville actually chose us over Kentucky. Is that everyone? That is everyone. That would put us fourth. That would put us fourth. With that in mind, was there something that I needed a top 5 draft class? Find 2 top 5 recruiting classes. All right, we'll see if we get it. But there's no one else that I'm looking at that I want. Looks like we maybe got it. We do. All right, for the guys that we brought in and everyone else, Thompson's a star. And he has that 95 speed that's going to help our receiving corps so much. Feeney is normal. But I mean, he's a blocking tight end. Keys can play in the slot. Feel pretty good with that. Maryville is an impact. Good speed in the back end. He's a zone coverage guy. I like that. Cheek, they're at normal. Impact for Reigns. Whitaker is elite, so that's going to be one I'm going to have to figure out if he's playing year one. Schwab's a star as a punter. Elite for Price. That might be something I look at maybe playing because he is a 4-star, has elite, and good speed. Lampman, we'll have to see where we end up putting him as an athlete. Velasco's impact. Elite for Wilbur on the outside. Wake's normal. Villa's an impact. Streeter is a star. Merrick is an impact. Gore is normal. Hyde is a star. Philbin's a star. Trapp is also a star. And then Raheem's is an impact. So we have some room to do some stuff. We'll see how that ultimately does work out. Position changes here. Let's make some moves. The biggest one is probably, let's look this. We're good there. At fullback, I could use one. Feeney is an 82 here. I'm gonna put as a blocking tight end or blocking fullback. Whitaker's a 78 already to start with. All right. At left tackle, Nash is here at 83. I'm actually going to move Caraway over to the right because we're going to redshirt the other one. 76. So we'll see how that works. Guard. There's Awesome. $76. Freeman's gonna move over to be a right guard. It's the best one, which means I need 2 centers in this upcoming recruiting class. All right. And Ibrahim here is the lead one. I'm gonna put DeBose on the left. And then maybe we'll readjust this. DeBose is gonna ultimately probably be more than Ibrahim, but Ibrahim might have the better caps. We'll kind of see how that goes. We're good at DT. Up. Guanero here at an 89. I'm going to keep him as a left. Price is a 76. The issue is Scroggins has 86 speed. I don't think he can play as this, so I'm gonna put him as a right outside linebacker. I don't think he can play that position. And I think if we're going to go with this, speed needs to come down and play an edge. He's 249. Let's put him down as a run stopper. Price might end up playing here at corner. That's how we're going with this. At free safety, I think I might move Merrick over. I'm gonna move Merrick over. He's gonna be redshirted. And Lampman. Vertical that tight end at a 193. What's his speed though? He has 92 speed. We need to speed into receiver. So let's do that. We'll see how that works. I kind of moved myself down in the corner now, so I think this would be a better spot. All right, training results in this one. The quarterback Rousseau is an 82 and Muma is an 82. Interesting. That is an interesting bit. At halfback mentor up to an 85, Butcher to an 86 or 76. No fullbacks. At receiver, Lane is an 84, Gallegos is an 81, Rathman is, I mean, look at this. 5'8", 5'8", 5'11". Yeah, we need to figure out what we're going to do here. At tight end, Chestnuts to a 78, Shakir to a 73. Nash is up to an 85, 81 for Baragava. Okay. McRoberts is an 84. Awesome is an 82. Freeman will start at right guard. Jerry's up to an 88 as a true playing as a senior. Wow. Okay. DeBose is to an 82. Ibrahim is to a 78. Ooh. This is going to be a question. Jung, Speed, Bergman. I mean, Jung's just going to have to... We'll have to see how he plays. Sanders an 83. Hilliard to an 80 as a senior. So we'll see if Sanders keeps on going up. Quinero is up to an 84. Doucette's an 82. Doucette has some speed. Doucette could play in the middle. That's going to have to be. Unless we're going to play a true freshman at middle linebacker. It's possible. Scrogan's here an 81 on the right side. That makes sense. At corner, Block is up to a 90 as a junior. We'll see if he stays or goes next season. Vallejo, they're in an 82. Gibson 78. Newcomb up to an 81 with Boger 78. Warriors up to a 77. Okay. Actually not too bad. What does that actually end up with our key spots, our skill position? So quarterback, yes, Rousseau's going to take this one. At halfback, it's Mentor. This is really the issue here. Whitaker, a 78. I think Whitaker plays year one. He has 50-50 balance, recoup, natural best friend, winning time. If we can get another receiver, maybe, but we're trying to win games. A middle linebacker, Price is going to start as a true freshman. Although we could play Lasco another year, we could play Price in the key games that we need him to play. Lasco will play the other games. But I need to figure out what we're doing also at receiver. I feel like we're good at corner. Good speed. Okay. Let's go next week. How many people do we need to encourage? 4. I think Willie Starr is out. So Willie Starr's out. At receiver, Russ Brownham's out. I think Kanoy won't be. I mean, Bergman's the one that's there. I think Ruggins will be out. Well, we might lower our roster size more than what we need to. Redfield is not fast enough here. All right, custom schedule. Let's have some fun. We're not playing an FCS team. So we start Maryland at the Big Ten week 2. Utah State, Missouri, LSU, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana. Okay, this is actually a relatively easier. Okay. But we do need to play Notre Dame at South Bend. Okay, so this is what we're going to end up doing. We're going to be at home against Missouri. We're going to travel to Maryland and take on the Terps. Then Utah State at home at Notre Dame versus LSU. And into more conference play with UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, Washington, and Purdue. So that is going to be our schedule going into this. Now it's up to recruiting board. First things first, I thought that was going to say Michael Vick, which is funny. Okay. 5-star prospects. Do any 5 stars? Let's go. Bunch of 5 stars here. Okay. Vaccaro is an elusive back. See if anyone actually wants us. Out of Illinois, receiver. Ooh. And a halfback who's an elusive back. That might be one. Preseason top 25. Of course, we're not going to get any respect here. Yep. Let's look at preseason All-Americans. Yeah, I'm not seeing it there. And I don't see us getting anything in the Big Ten either. Well, it's up to Rousseau and what he's going to do. Not much is going to change on this team on the offense besides the receiver. Ooh, the defensive tackles are possible. So Stevens locked us out. That was just a choice. We're not going to be able to get Mayo. Holman might be able to. We have 3 here. I think this is something that's worth pursuing for the first year, and then we can kind of mix it up as we need to. All right, the Heisman watch to start the season. Cam Williams, receiver at Notre Dame. Cam McKyle on Colorado. Tyler Cherry at Indiana. Jeremy Payne at Texas A&M. And Trey Owens, the quarterback out of Texas. All right. Let's see how this week goes. And then we'll call it there. Oh, we might actually have a chance with Spruce. All right, so we'll go with that 50, and that's how we will go. Start off the recruiting. Not the greatest. I mean, 2 receivers, which we do need. Depth at DT. Going into the secondary with corner. With 2 corners. We have center. Like, we're looking at skill positions because we just need to boost those up naturally. So that's going to do it for me today. Next episode, we will take on Missouri. It's going to be a big game. We don't start in conference, but it will be all the rage. None other than Ricky Rousseau in his 3rd year as a starter. Thanks for hanging out. Go leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.